Hey, hey. Welcome to another edition of Sit Down at Uptown, man. To Sit Down at Uptown, you know, we chop it up with all the comedians who come rock the house at Uptown Comedy Corner. And tonight, man, we got a fan favorite, man. Guy's been rocking with Uptown for years. You know what I mean? Good friend of this club, man, and we enjoy his company. The man, alexthomas, is in the building. What's up, brother?
Man, I'm proud of you, bro. I thought you was always behind the scenes, man.
Yeah.
I get here and I see this man he is the face of the show. And the title's dope.
Appreciate it, man.
The Sit Down at Uptown. Who came up with that?
Actually, I give it up to Bo Peep, man. Bo Peep came up with that.
Bo Peep.
Yeah, he
Bo
did.
Peep, who I've known for damn near 30 years.
The Bo Peep.
What is he up to? Bo Peep, what's up, man? This is alexthomas. Man, I go back 30 years with that dude. Where's he been?
He's been here. He had a bad injury here recently. Fell off a ladder, tore his MCL, ACL, all kinds of.
His ABC and his NBC and his CBS. Damn. Hey, Bo, I hope you get better, brother. I did not know that.
Yeah.
We go way, way back.
I know it.
I'm talking original.
Right.
Uptown. Where was the original Uptown?
History Road.
Absolutely, right there where Justin's used to be in the little shopping center.
Right.
And Earthquake was the host. Yeah. I'm a triple OG in the game now,
I
Mo.
know it, sir. I know it, sir.
Triple OG.
Triple OG.
Yeah, real talk.
Hey, man, it's glad to have you back, man. Appreciate
Thank you. I
you
love
always
Atlanta.
coming out.
Every time I come out here, the folks pull up. It's like my second city, man. People for years thought I was from Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you why. It's the weirdest reason.
Talk to me.
What is my name?
Alex.
Alex. So my whole life, I always loved baseball caps that had A's on it.
Hey.
So people just figured and assumed
Right.
I was from Atlanta.
Right.
And I just always had A hats, even though I'm a LA nigga all day, 24/7, 365, twice on Sundays. I just love hats with A's.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where it could have been Alabama, Arkansas, any team with an A.
Just rock the A.
I was just rocking it. So
Makes sense.
people thought I was from all them places.
Makes sense.
You from Alabama, Arkansas, ATL? You know, so yeah.
Triple A,
anything with an A on it. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope, man. Well, it's always good to have you here, though, brother. Real talk, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate
Uptown.
being here.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. And, you know, at the end of the day, man, it's black business.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I salute y'all for doing this. You know, it's a platform for black folks to do what they do.
That's right.
Make some money. And also, you know, it's kind of like giving back to the community. You know what I mean? Especially as black as Atlanta is.
Yeah, no doubt.
I did some research, and they said Atlanta is the second blackest city in the world next to Africa. So I just made that shit up, but yeah, it's very black.
Great
here.
research.
It's great research. It's very black here, and I love that. Atlanta is like the only place in the world. I just feel like I was talking about this on the golf course today. I feel like Atlanta, no matter what the job is, from top to bottom, whether you a brother that works at Costco, whether you a police officer, a politician, or a stripper, you black. There is black folks. Like, I'll never forget when I was coming to Atlanta, like in early 2000s,
Right.
I saw cops with cornrows. I saw Ludacris the cop. I'm like, is this a trap nigga pulling me over?
Luda APD.
Right. It's crazy. I loved it because in LA, you kind of don't see that.
Okay.
Like, it's just everything's black.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
I love it.
That's dope. That's ATL, man.
That's Atlanta. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Alex, man, I always like to start these conversations taking trips backwards,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's roll the reel back a little bit, man. Let's go to a young alexthomas. Let's go to the kid. All right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let's take it back to your diapers.
Yeah. Little past the diaper stage, after the walking.
Right.
Tell us what alexthomas was like as a kid, man.
Breastfeeding. Did you breastfeed, alexthomas? Or since you're in LA, did you start on soy milk and almond milk, or did you suck your mother's titties like other babies? Like, nigga, you took it way back.
That's hilarious.
All right, what was your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let's talk about alexthomas as a kid, man. What was it like growing up for you, man? Siblings, things of that nature, man. Household.
Big household.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know I have 4 brothers.
Okay.
I'm the oldest. Grew up in South Central LA in the 70s and 80s where it was crazy. You know, if you ever saw movies like Boys in the Hood and everything you ever saw when it had to do with Crips, Bloods, gangbangers and all that, I was smack dab heart of it. But my parents were like, you are not gonna get caught up in this.
Okay.
So we are sending your ass to Beverly Hills every day. I was the only black kid in an all-white private school for years.
Really?
You know, literally bus from the hood to Beverly Hills, just so I don't have to be in that environment all day.
Okay.
I came home to it.
Okay.
You know, that's what kind of made me who I am as a stand-up. And, I didn't know back then that one day I was going to be a comedian.
Right.
I was just that dude. I was around white kids all day. I came home to niggas. You know, I was in Beverly Hills, and the next thing I know, I'm off of Crenshaw and Florence and Adams, and like my parents went to Fauché and Manual. Like it was a great mixture because when I got older, when it comes to subjects and material and being able to make people laugh, I was able to make all people laugh. You know, and you got to think about it. You know, my two heroes in stand-up comedy, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, and they were able to make all people laugh. You know, a lot of people don't realize, like, my first 8-9 years of comedy, my whole act was about being the only black kid in an all-white private school. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I mean, like the question I get a lot with white people, they're like, oh my God, you grew up around the gangs in South Central. Like, how did you avoid the gangs? Were you in a gang? And I'm like, oh, I was in a gang. You know, we were called the Cub Scouts. you know, I had to deal with getting teased every day, you know what I mean? From the black kids in the neighborhood because I didn't do the stereotypical black shit.
Okay.
You know, like I was horrible at basketball. You know, I was slow as fuck. You know what I mean? I couldn't hit a jump shot for nothing.
Right.
But nigga, I could swim with the dolphins.
Is that right?
Not too many black people could swim, but growing up around white people, that's what I did.
Right.
I liked hockey. I liked soccer. I liked the black shit too, but I was just exposed to more stuff.
Okay.
You know, it just kind of made me well-rounded. You know, and nothing against the brothers that weren't able to do that.
Right.
And then look what happened. 25, 30 years later, I end up writing on one of the biggest TV shows of all time, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. A lot of people don't realize a lot of that was kind of like how my life really was.
Oh, wow.
You know? So Will Smith and I got along so well because we had similar backgrounds. Same way he kind of grew up in Philly. I was that dude in South Central LA.
Is that right?
You know what I mean? So, you know, two different worlds, but we're both Libras. We're both around the same age. You know, we both, you know, grew up in hip hop. And I was the only dude on that show all those years that was not from Philly. I was the honorary Philly dude. You know what I mean? He put on all his boys, and I was the one dude from LA.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. To answer you, I know that was a long answer
that's perfect,
of where
actually.
I grew up. But
No, that's perfect. So you're the oldest of, you said,
four brothers.
boys, all boys.
All boys.
And I know I caught you said my parents. So you had a two-parent household.
Yes, two-parent household. That's another thing.
Yeah, talk to me.
You know, got teased about that. Like, I've never...
Get teased about the two-parent
I got
household.
teased about so much. Do you know... I got to shout out this comedian.
Right.
Do you know Ralph Harris?
Ralph Harris.
Ralph Harris, one of the funniest comedians ever. He's a black comic. He didn't really do black rooms.
Okay.
He had a TV show on ABC. Very universal type comic in the 90s and 80s. We're playing golf one day, and in the middle of the round, my father called me, right? And I was like, yo, y'all just hit the ball. I got to talk to my dad real quick. I'm in my 30s.
Okay.
I got to talk to my dad real quick. And Ralph Harris looked at me and said, you know that, nigga? Everybody fell out, and I was like, why is that shit so funny?
Crazy.
And then we just got into a deep talk of, you know, where he was born and raised. Like a whole lot of brothers grew up in households with no dad.
Yeah.
And again, not knocking anybody that wasn't able to do it, but that really molded me to be able to see black love. You know, to grow up with a father, grow up with a mother, to know consequences, to respect women.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And these are things that I think a lot of brothers, man, shout out to all the black moms out there, they had to be mama and daddy.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately due to the circumstances. But I got to see both sides.
That's awesome.
And I took a lot of that to where I'm at in my household now.
Okay.
You know, I have a beautiful black wife, 3 beautiful black children, and I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't ready in my 20s and 30s. I always commend, you know, a lot of dudes our age, granddaddies now.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I wasn't ready in my early Hollywood days. I was too wild out in them streets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I commend all my boys they were having kids in their 20s and 30s. I'm like, nigga, how did you do it? If I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, that's real.
If I had children when I was 25, 24, 20, nigga, I would have been a horrible dad. I would have been a horrible father. I would have been, one foot would have been changing diapers and one foot would have been in the strip club in Magic City.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
So I commend them because I see how much responsibility it takes to be a real father now. And I know I'm at a responsible point in my life. I don't know how I would have did it when I was younger.
That's good stuff, though. That's good stuff.
You know?
So were you the only one? Did all the brothers, all y'all end up getting busted?
Say it again?
Did all of y'all get busted to private schools?
So I was the only one that went to the private school.
Okay.
I was the only one that went to the private school. In the private school, went all the way up to like in junior high school is when I went to the school that was close to my neighborhood.
Okay.
So if you know LA or people that are watching, so grew up in South Central LA, and by 7th, 8th, 9th grade, I moved to the West Side. You been to LA?
Sure.
You've heard of the Beverly Center?
Yes.
We were 5 minutes from the Beverly Center.
Okay.
Basically, a lot of people don't know black folks live 5 minutes from the Beverly Center. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then I moved to the West Side.
Okay.
And then that's when I went to, the other schools.
Okay.
But it just well-rounded me, man.
So how was it when you came home? Though? I know you say you got teased a lot, but seriously, like in the neighborhood, were you able to have friends?
I was going to get in there, but I didn't know how long-winded I can get. Just imagine this is 1980.
Yeah.
And I'm around these white kids all day, and I come to the hood, and nigga, I have on Vans, OP shorts, and a goddamn Ozzy Osbourne t-shirt. Oh, they're looking at me like, if this nigga sold the fuck out, like, when was the last time you had a piece of chicken, nigga? Like, do you even know who Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Commodores are? You know what I mean? Do you know about the Gap Band? But you gotta understand something you probably didn't know. I grew up in the music industry.
Okay.
My dad was in one of the greatest bands of all time. You probably didn't know this. My dad was with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Did not know that.
My dad was the beginning of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Is that right?
Earth, Wind, and Fire, for all the people that really know those legends, they started out as a group called the Phoenix Horns. Verdine White, Maurice, and my father, Alexthomas. My dad was the wind of Earth, Wind, and Fire. In fact, they just did a big Lincoln Center honors. I don't know if you remember it. It was huge, like maybe a year ago on CBS.
Yeah.
They always honored the greats. Like one year they did the Rolling Stones.
Right,
One year they did Earth, Wind, and Fire. And what's crazy is they were showing videos and album covers of the early 70s. I'm kind of getting chills talking about it. I'm like, oh, you should have to call my father. I'm like, Daddy, yeah, they talking about you. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that. So I grew up I was an Earth, Wind, and Fire baby.
That's
when they were
crazy.
just a band playing in parks. First time I ever smelled weed in my life was in my living room. Earth, Wind, and Fire rehearsing in my living room.
Right.
And so my dad was the beginning of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
All the way up to like 81, 89. My dad produced, Minnie Riperton and, Sly and Family Stone. And like I was really in this. I was in studios with James Brown when I was a kid. So my dad was a studio musician also. So I have the craziest story, man. So my wife, I told her the stories about how my dad was with Earth, Wind, and Fire. And she's like, yeah, right. That was the greatest band of all time. My parents love Earth, Wind, and Fire. I was like, I'm serious. So I always told her, but she's 10 years younger than me, so she, he's not in it anymore. So she wasn't able to see interaction, right? I can't make this up. About 6 months ago, we're in this real nice-ass restaurant in Beverly Hills, and my back is turned like this. My wife is sitting right there. Man, it just happened to be, we just were having a conversation because we were listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire driving to the restaurant. Man, she looks at me, she goes, your daddy was really with Earth, Wind, and Fire? I was like, you think I'm lying about this shit? Like, yes. She goes, I think that's one of the dudes that was in the band behind you. I was like, what are you talking about? Nigga, I turned around, and about he didn't see me, about 5 tables over was Verdine White.
Wow.
Having dinner with his wife.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, oh shit, that's Uncle Verdine. She's like, go over to the nigga. Right. I was like, okay, get your camera ready. I walked 4 tables over. Do you know Verdine looked at me? This is how far back we go. He goes, baby Alex.
Wow.
Nigga, I'm 55 years old. He called me baby Alex. He remember, and I brought my wife over. Introduced, we took pictures. He's like, oh my God, you're like one of the greatest bands of all time. And he's like, he started telling stories. Man, this is little Alex. Man, when we first started, Alex Sr., and he was like, is your daddy still alive? I'm like, yeah, he's alive. And I was like, say hi to him and blah, 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 blah. And we just reminisced. And it was crazy. Here we have one of the most famous dudes in music history. And the first thing he said to me, because I haven't seen him since I was like 10.
Wow.
Right? And he was like, can I just tell you how proud I am of you? He goes, I've been watching you over the years on your TV shows, in your movies, and I would tell my friend, oh, I know him. That's Alex Jr. and da-da-da. So a lot of people didn't know that story.
Wow.
So yeah, it was crazy, man.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
So I grew up in the music business.
So what
Hey,
you
wait a minute, can I just say something real quick?
Go ahead.
Let me tell you how much of the music I was into.
Okay.
They forced it on me.
Okay.
I grew up in a house with 2 pianos, every horn you could think of, and I can't play shit. I end up telling jokes for a living. Jamie Foxx always teased me about it. He'd be like, yeah, nigga, I wish you played piano now, because I'm saying how dope he is.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could have been that guy.
That could have been me.
My dad is one of the greatest bands of all time, and nigga, I can't yodel.
Wow.
I can't sing happy birthday, nigga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it all
That's
worked
crazy.
out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I had to ask though. So what'd you say you went back to the table with your wife?
Oh, I was like, all right, you have to give me some extra pussy tonight. Some extra pussy. Okay. I'm gonna find a new home.
She put you on the challenge right
Oh,
now.
she the real nigga challenge. And she was like, oh my God, she told her mom. And yeah, it was.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a great experience.
Yeah. That's what I love about podcasts. People find out stories.
Yeah, man.
Shit they didn't know.
They had no idea.
You had no idea. If you know me.
No idea.
Nick's known me all these years, everything.
All
Yeah,
this
so-
time. Had no
Yep.
idea. That's crazy.
Yep.
So now you come back to school in high school in the regular schools,
Mm-hmm.
right? So are you doing any acting, anything at this point? What
It's
is
crazy,
high school
man.
like for you?
In high school, I won class clown.
Okay.
Best sense of humor.
Okay.
It wasn't like in September I was like, vote for me in June. Best sense of humor. Class clown. No, I was just always the silly guy.
Okay.
I'll never forget Richard Pryor said something great in one of his movies. No, it was one of his stand-ups. He said when he went to prison, he had them niggas laughing to keep their minds off the booty.
Right.
That was me in the hood.
Okay.
But the flip side, I kept all the gangbangers and all the hood niggas laughing so they would not even look at me like, come join the gang.
Got you.
Like, come do this drive-by with it. Like, and that's another thing I used to talk about on stage. People like, so living in that environment and seeing what you saw, you know, I did Jay Leno once in the early 90s, and I was telling them the story about how by 21, I had been to 21 funerals. By 21 years old, I had already been to 21 funerals from dudes I grew up with, South Central LA, that didn't make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was like, how did you make it out of that? And it was a simple explanation. My parents kept me so busy, I didn't have time for crime. They wanted me to go on a drive-by, but nigga, I had choir rehearsal. They wanted me to rob the liquor store with them, but I had soccer practice. I was swamped. I was just too busy for the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's true shit. But like I said, my first 8-9 years of doing stand-up, that's all I talked about.
Yeah.
Being the only black kid in an all-white private school, and the white people really got it. Like another story, and this is stuff a lot of times I don't even talk about it in the all-black rooms. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
So how do I say this, man? So the school I went to,
Okay.
it was almost 85, 90% Jewish,
Oh wow.
right? So by 13, I had been to more bar mitzvahs than barbecues. Okay?
I bet.
I can't make this up. My mother custom made me my own yarmulke.
Stop. Really?
She made that shit out of a purple Crown Royal bag. I was walking around the school looking like a little black Jewish pimp. It was like, what's up, Alex? I'm like, Shabbat Shalom, motherfucker. True shit.
That's
I can't even
wild.
make that up.
That's wild.
I can't even make that up.
That's wild. Man.
I have so many stories.
I can only imagine.
You know what I mean? But it just
imagine.
kind of well-rounded me to who I am today.
Yeah, I bet.
You know what I mean?
So the troubles of usually of siblings, you know, did everybody stay on this path to stay out the gang life? Because that's usually the challenge, right?
It's very much a challenge. And in my family, there was people on both sides.
Okay.
And you know, when I say both sides, it was Crips, there was Bloods, but my grandmama wouldn't allow it.
Okay.
Thanksgiving, everybody's leaving down the rags. Like, I don't care if you're in Inglewood or you over there in the 30s or you in the rolling 60s, thinking we all here to eat this turkey and this dressing today.
Right.
And that's my sister's brother, my cousin's brother, that's my mom, that's my cousin, that's my auntie. So it didn't go down in the house, but 4 brothers. I'm the only one that kind of really went all the way in the entertainment business. Thank God that my particular brothers, my immediate 4 brothers, did not get caught up in it.
Okay.
They just got caught up in a whole bunch of other things.
Okay.
You know, but not the gangbanging.
Okay.
But we were around it.
Yeah.
We were around it, and thank God for 2 great parents.
Yeah.
And church.
And church. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
I had to go to church. My mother, just so you know, so my dad was Earth, Wind & Fire. My mom was a classical pianist.
Oh, wow. Oh, so
when I said I grew up with literally 2 pianos in the house,
yeah.
like every church in South Central LA, I'm not even exaggerating. Let's say there was 300 churches in South Central LA. My mother played the organ in 297 of them. I was forced to go to church. I was in the Southern California Conference Youth Choir.
Wow.
Want to hear something funny? So I work on a Mike Epps show right now. It's called The Upshaws.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seen it?
Love it.
Regina. There's everybody, Kim Fields and, Wanda Sykes and all that. A lot of people don't know. I grew up with Kim Fields. As huge as a star she was. I mean, Kim Fields got pictures with Michael Jackson when she was 5. And, Janet Jackson was one of her best friends. She was a star. But you know who we knew each other from?
What?
Church.
Is that right?
We were in the same school. So the other night, shout out to Mike Epps and everybody, the Upshaws. Kim was like, a lot of people don't know, I grew up with alexthomas. I was like, it's crazy. We were friends as kids, but through church and choir. Obviously, she was already on TV, already a star. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until later on. But small world.
Small world.
Yeah.
A great segue. So tell us how you introduced yourself, how you got introduced to the comedy world.
You know what, man? I got introduced to the comedy world. Shout out to the Wayans family. They've always called me the honorary Wayans because damn near every project they've done in the last 30 years, I've either been on it, in it, a part of it, writing, warm up with it, somehow, some way. In fact, the new show is about to drop. We start in August. Damon Wayans' new show on CBS. It's going to be coming, shout out to Cedric the Entertainer, The Neighborhood.
Yeah.
Damon Wayans' new show.
Yeah.
It's going to be right after that on CBS, and I'm working on that with them.
Cool.
They just always kept me employed. And I learned so much from the Wayans family. They are great examples of Hollywood does not have to dictate everything that we do. They are epitomes, and you can write your own projects, not wait around for Hollywood and be successful.
Okay.
And they're great. And Keenan Ivory Wayans, who was an icon in the black comedy world, and Damon Wayans, they laid that foundation. So long story short, I say that to say Keenan Ivory Wayans and Damon Wayans got me into comedy. How that happened?
Yes, please.
I was an assistant choreographer on this little show called In Living Color.
This
little show.
May have heard of it.
Yeah, with a couple of girls. They were called the Fly Girls.
Yeah.
A chick by the name of Rosie Perez.
Right.
And me and Rosie were best friends. I was her assistant.
Oh, wow.
With the Fly Girls. That was back in my dancing days.
Okay.
I was just a straight L.A. pop locking, break dancing ass nigga. And long story short, I met Rosie because I was a dancer on Soul Train from 15 to 20 years old.
I didn't know that.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
That was the early stages of my life. And when she got the job in Living Color, I basically was her assistant. It wasn't a long-lasting job because one day, Damon and Keenan Ivory Wayans walked into the dance hall. We're all rehearsing, and he just sees the Fly Girls spitting up their drinks, laughing. And they walked in and were like, ain't y'all supposed to be dancing? And he looked at me like, nigga, aren't you a dancer? Like, what's going on? And Rosie's like, I told you, he's funny as fuck. I told you he should be a comedian. Because Rosie was always saying, you should do comedy. She had just met Martin Lawrence. She's like, I told my friend about you. This dude, he's real funny. His name is Martin Lawrence. Because when they did, I forget the movie.
Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing. She just did it, just met Martin. She's like, when I run into him, I tell him about you. About, who knew years later we'd all become friends and everything. But Damon Wayans and Keenan were like, I looked at them, and they're like, are you a comedian? And I looked at him, I was like, do comedians get paid? Dead serious. Damon reached in his pockets. I'll never forget. And he got a brand new Jordan sweatsuit. This is 1991. And he pulled $30,000 cash out of one pocket and $30,000 cash out the other pocket. To answer your question, nigga made it rain in 1991. Wow. Nigga, it felt like the money was never gonna land. It was so much money. He's like, nigga, I made all that this weekend at the Improv. He had just got off the road. And you gotta think about it. At one time, Damon Wayans was one of the biggest comedians in America. Absolutely. And nigga, I started doing comedy a week later.
No, you did.
Dancing was done. No, I couldn't cut a rug anymore.
Nobody made it rain dancing.
Nigga, yes. And I started doing stand-up, and that.
Wow, that's crazy.
If that answers your question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you started doing stand-up, but tell me what that was like for you. Like, did you have Damon to talk about, like, creating a set? Like, what was your first show? I mean, what was the actual introduction?
They didn't really walk me through it like that.
Okay.
I did ask them questions, and just kind of hanging out with them.
Okay.
They were like, you're a funny ass dude.
Okay.
Talk about you. Talk about some of them stories and little shits that you told us. That shit's funny.
Gotcha.
Take it to stage. And I didn't know the process, but it stayed with me?
What's that?
They said, right.
Okay.
And if there's anything I ever took from anybody in this business was right. And I was like, I can do that. Because when I was a kid, I was the most creative writer of talking about a lion-ass nigga. Nigga, I used to do book reports saying I just got back from Japan and I had a birthday party on an airplane from France to England. Nigga, I didn't see a plane till I was 21 years old. I was the most creative writer. I was just able to, dream through the pen and the pad. And I was always a writer, not really realizing I was a writer. And I still, to this day, I do thousands of podcasts. People ask me, if you had any, anything to say to a young and up and coming, I say it to this day. Right. Right. And I see it's kind of a lost art form. I'm not gonna name names, but a lot of these niggas ain't writing. They think they're gonna freestyle their way through life. I hear a comic, yeah, man, I don't do the same thing twice. I'm like, and that's horrible, nigga. And that's why you suck. This is not rap. This is not a freestyle throwing a beat, nigga.
Yeah.
I always use hip-hop as an example. You know how many niggas on every street corner in America you can throw on a beat and a nigga can freestyle?
Absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, it's a part of the art form.
Sure.
It's a part of the culture. I love freestyle. But can you write a song? A song is the shit that's gonna make you rich. A song is the thing that the whole world's gonna be singing. A song is when you go to different countries all over the world and they know your song. That's how you get paid. Right. So I took that same ideology to stand up. I take it when I talk about movies and TV. Do you freestyle a movie, nigga? Do you freestyle a TV show? No, it has to be written.
That's right.
And I'm very proud of my writing. People are like, yo, you can tell you write, nigga. Yes. How am I gonna remember all this shit?
Right.
I gotta write. And writing also helps you. A lot of young comics don't realize, you can get real nervous on a stage when them lights hit you and there's 300 strangers standing in front of you, and you may forget some shit. But if you wrote some shit down, and okay, that joke didn't work, that joke didn't work, you go in your archives, maybe let me try the one I wrote about.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So writing is the key, and that's one thing they instilled in me. And thank God, because I was able to make millions of dollars in this business over the years, writing for people. There's people out there call me the black baby face of comedy. I'm dead serious, and I'm not gonna mention names because I don't like looking like, I will give you one example though. Okay. So when people found out I was a writer on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they go, so that's the reason Will Smith is so funny. And I'm like, nope, I can't take that credit. very honest. He's a super talented, funny ass dude. I always use sports as an example. Look at me like Phil Jackson.
Okay.
Great coach. I'm just running into plays. I can't say, Phil Jackson can't say the reason Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan can't say, no, we worked together.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that man, I can never say anything bad about because he gave me my first opportunity in Hollywood, one of the funniest, most down-to-earth billionaires I've ever known. And yeah, I was writing. You know what I mean? Go back to Babyface. A lot of people don't realize how many hits on other people. He wrote so many hits. Have you ever seen him live?
Yes, 100%.
So he'll do his whole set of his music. And then he has a section in his show, and here's my songs that I made other niggas rich.
Man.
But he still got paid. So kind of like me in Hollywood.
Gotcha.
That's why when I see a lot of black comics and they want to compare me to certain people, and I'm not going to say their name, I don't ever let that bother me because what they don't realize, you know you can make millions of dollars
Right.
writing too, right?
100%.
You know how many white boys are walking around Hollywood right now and you would never have an idea who they are because you never seen their face and they're filthy rich? I take that as, yeah. So when they want to compare me to da-da-da-da-da-da-da, well, you ain't da-da, and you didn't, no, I just had a different route.
That's right.
Because my whole thing in the entertainment business was, you know what? I want to get good enough in this entertainment business that I never have to have a regular job. So when I found out there's all these avenues and all these lanes that you can get paid, you get paid as a writer, a producer, animation, comedy, stand-up, all of that. I was like, nigga, I'm going to do them all.
Absolutely.
And love what I'm doing. And get a check at every one of them.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
I did it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't have, very fortunate. Thank God I didn't have to ever have a regular job.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's
Then the
beautiful.
residuals still come in from all
coming
everything
in.
that happened over the years.
So do you remember your first set?
Wow. Do I remember my first set? I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember the first one. I remember the times.
Okay.
I remember when I was new.
Okay.
And when I was going up. So the question I always get is, were you ever booed? I was never booed. But nigga, a whole lot of crickets. A whole lot of silence. And to be honest with you, silence and crickets is almost worse than getting booed.
Yeah.
Silence will make you want to find the nearest bridge and jump off that motherfucker. Silence make you be like, why am I even alive? No one likes me. I think I should just go outside and play in traffic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was just, you're not knowing where you're going with it. You have no clue. But thank God, here's what I always think. I always had a personality.
Okay.
And a lot of young comics don't understand. If you have a great personality, you can get away with it. Same way I was with women over the years.
Yeah.
I'm not a tall, pretty nigga with abs and good hair and green eyes and whatever the fuck, nigga. But I had a great personality.
Personality.
And the bitches loved me.
I can make them laugh.
They loved me. Well, you can make a motherfucker laugh. Nigga, this makes me equivalent to the nigga over here that's spending $30,000 in the booth.
That's right.
You make me equivalent to that nigga that scored 9 touchdowns last game against my, yeah.
That's right.
Every woman on the planet loves to laugh, and I would just giggle my way right into the coochie, and that's, yes, sir.
That's real.
I can't lie to you.
So it sounded like you had a real supportive family. So when you told your parents your direction you're gonna take in comedy, what was the response?
My mother was like, okay, but what's gonna be your job? I was like, Mama, that is gonna be my job. I remember having to use examples. You heard of Richard Pryor? Yes. You heard of Bill Cosby? Yes. You heard of Eddie Murphy? You know that's their job, right? Like they got paid millions of dollars to do that.
Right.
And because of my hustle, I was one of those dudes that was really able to start making money early in the game. I'd always heard the old, oh, you're gonna do stand-up, it's gonna take you 5 or 10 years to get some money. With my hustle and the way I developed and how it's almost like I had the Mamba mentality, rest in peace, before Kobe was here. I was that dude that I lived, ate, and shit stand-up comedy because that's all I had at that time.
Okay.
And I knew eventually this shit was gonna open up doors for me. And I was a hustler. I was that dude, man, going up 5 nights, 6 nights a week. I was that dude way before the internet, looking at the ads where all the open mics were. I didn't care where it was, nigga. Churches, quinceañeras, weddings, and funerals, nigga, I was performing. I performed in a nigga's backyard at a pool party, and I was performing on the diving board. Nigga. The niggas gave me $100. I'm like, it's better than a regular job.
I know that's right.
You know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
like, okay. My little apartment I had, I'm like, I can pay bills, do what I love to. They pay to be funny? Nigga, sign me up.
Right away.
And that's been my mentality ever since.
So when you're sitting there with Will Smith on a show like this, and you're back in the earlier times, did you get a sense? Did they have a sense of that show would be such an iconic show? Was that even, you know what I mean? Like, what was the sense
We
of that
had
set?
no idea.
Okay.
I was just going to work every day at Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, showing up to the set, and just having fun doing what I love to do. We didn't know we were inspiring a whole world and a culture to come. You got to think about it. This is 93 to 97. It wasn't even a whole lot of examples of it. Wasn't like it was 10 other big shows like that. We were really groundbreaking in a way.
100%.
You know? I believe maybe a year ago or two, they did something on HBO, and they did a kind of a special on our days back then. I didn't even know there was cameras on us back then. People were hitting me up like, nigga, you look like you was 12 years old. And da-da-da-da-da. I was like, I didn't even know cameras were in the table reads and around us back then.
Yeah.
People that didn't know, they were like, nigga, you really was on that. I'm like, you think I was lying, nigga? You know what I mean? But it really hit me when I would hear the rappers of this generation and a lot of their lyrics, right? Somebody like J. Cole, his biggest song. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
Right.
For real. You the only father that I ever knew. I'm like, wow, it kind of gives me goosebumps talking about it. I'm like, what I told you about earlier, a whole lot of brothers that were babies in the 90s, they really turned on the TV to see what a dad was like.
Yeah.
So many brothers my age, like they really watched The Cosby Show. Is that what happens?
100%.
Like black people can be in a household where there's a mother and a father, and ain't no drugs, and ain't no shooting, and ain't no kill. Like we were trying to put out positive energy and positive vibes, even though we knew what was going on in America.
Right.
We knew the crack was killing communities all over the world, especially in America and all the urban cities.
Right.
But man, it was like it was your getaway. I can only imagine what it was like if you were a kid in the 90s and your daddy's in jail and your mama's on crack, and for 30 minutes on the Tuesday nights, you turn on that TV and smile and laugh and be like, it gave you hope.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that till years later.
That's deep.
You know, I have people, I'll be in another country, man, and they would tell me straight up, I learned how to speak English in my country from watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Wow.
Whether it was a brother that grew up in Nigeria or a black dude that grew up in London, you didn't realize it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that made me feel good.
That's crazy.
That it's and it's still relevant. Here's another thing that trips me out. When I have parents that are like my age, but say their kid is 19 right now. Say their kid is 22 right now. They'll go like, you know, that's my son's favorite show to this day. Now, here's the part that trips me out. Our last episode was 1997. So that means that 22-year-old dude, like today, his entire life was reruns.
Isn't that something?
You know how good that makes me feel? It's almost like
That's crazy.
if you play a Michael Jackson song, let's just take Beat It. 100 years from now, or whether you heard it 4 times in your car, great music never dies.
Right.
And it will live forever. And it's still relevant to this day. I pride myself on that.
That's good stuff.
I pride myself on being a comedian, celebrating 30 years in entertainment, still being able to be relevant to this day.
Yeah.
I'm about to get off this stage right here and go rip the motherfucking Uptown Comedy Corner, because I can.
That's right.
Whole lot of guys that I started out with, you know, bless them all, weren't able to make it to this point.
Sure.
A lot of guys just had to tap out. Nothing else to say. Not relevant. I'm done. And for whatever reason, not knocking them, I'm just saying, God bless me to still be here, to do what I love to do, and make these people laugh still.
That's real. That's real. How did you hook up with Jamie Foxx and go on to the Jamie Foxx show?
So Jamie Foxx show, that was just the next chapter after Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Jamie, man, he's just seen me as an up-and-coming young comic. I remember the night Jamie got in Living Color. but he jumped out of his 240ZX in front of the Laugh Factory to go audition. See, Jamie was already on the rise of being the next superstar. I was just a young comedian that he would always see out.
Okay.
I mean, I like this little nigga. Nigga, you funny. He would always catch my little sets.
Really?
5 minutes, 10 minutes, ripping and killing. And then everybody around him was seeing. I was making a name for myself. You know, shout out to Chris Tucker, all of us that came up in that young, early defcomedyjam era. And he always liked me as a young, little funny motherfucker. We didn't know eventually one day he was gonna get a show. It's kind of like I always tell people relationships is everything. I didn't know he was eventually gonna have a hit show one day. But when that show came around, he reached back and got me.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to Bentley Evans and everybody was behind the show.
Yeah.
And everybody, I was just a young, talented dude that fit, you know, the role.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
What was your first movie?
My first movie, a hood classic, Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Again, shout out to the Wayans brothers.
Right.
Not only was that the first movie I was in, it was the first movie I wrote on. You know? Keenan Ivory Wayne, put it this way, we were supposed to come out a year before the movie came out. Keenan didn't like it and made all of us sit down and rewrite the movie. We were like in writing boot camp.
Really?
Like he was like, yeah, like a drill sergeant. Me, Marlon, Sean,
Wow.
my boy Chris Spencer, Daryl Heath, Sully McCullough, Bruce Fine, a whole lot of us. He was teaching us the ropes. Like, this is you guys' movie. Shout out to Sean and Marlon, and it all came together, and it goes down as one of the most classic black movies in black history.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt. What was the Players Club experience like?
Players Club, a lot of ass, a lot of titties.
Yes, Lord.
Next question. No, just shout out to icecube for putting me in that. That was iconic again. So many things. I've been really lucky, man. You know,
Do you
25.
do you get to enjoy that right there? What you were just about to say? You've been really lucky. Do you really get to
Lucky,
sit back?
but I want to say more blessed.
Okay, but do you get to sit back and really think about, man, I've done a lot.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It only comes up when people bring it up.
Okay.
And when people bring it up, I say exactly what you said. Wow, really have been doing this a long ass time.
Yeah.
Like I've made my mark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't compare myself to other people. I can only be the best Alex Thomas I could be. Anthony Edwards just said something recently, the new young superstar in the NBA. They asked him the other night on TNT, they were like, so do you get sick of people saying you're the next Michael Jordan or you're like Michael Jordan? He said, yeah, actually I do, man. Michael Jordan was the greatest of all time and I respect him for who he was, but I'm the new Anthony Edwards. I can only be me. That's y'all that are comparing, and we get that. We're in the entertainment business.
Right.
So everybody has an opinion.
Right.
I'm one of those dudes who respects the people before me, the people that are with me, all the way up to the new young cats coming up. I respect Kevin Hart. I love what Kevin did for our sport. I respect Cat Williams. I respect Mike. I was before all those dudes. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just had a different route.
That's right.
But you know, the average nigga on the street wants to compare you to them. You ain't no, but they're not me. I'm not Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's not Alex Thomas. I'm not Mike Epps. Mike Epps, but we all respect each other. So when Kat did that interview on Shay Shay, you know how many? I got 1,000 calls.
I can only
Nigga, I
imagine.
thought he was gonna mention your name. Hey, he didn't mention your name. Why did he not mention my name? Because I'm friends with him and everybody. I'm the relationship dude. I didn't get into this game for beef.
Yeah.
Every single name that came out of his mouth, I'm friends with them all.
Yeah.
That's just not my style. Shout out to all the people that's what they do. It's not my style.
Yeah.
I was cool with all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If Kevin Hart walked in there, what's up, Alex Thomas? If Dave Chappelle walked in, what's up, Alex? If Chris Rock, like literally, I paved my way in this game. Somebody called me the other day. They said, nigga, you're like the Charles Barkley of comedy, right? And then he explained. Okay. And I was like, shit, nigga. Nigga might be right. Nigga might be right. So basically he said, you know, Charles goes down one of the most respected dudes ever.
That's right.
History of the game. Anybody knows their history, Charles Barkley was a motherfucking beast.
Facts.
Like, don't forget that.
Fact.
Right? Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Right? I even saw an interview with Michael Jordan once. They asked him, is there any guy out there that, like, you wished during your career that dude could have been on your team? Who did he say? Charles Barkley. Right?
Yeah.
So with all that being said, goes down as one of the greatest of all time. But the one thing he never got was the ring in the championship.
Yeah.
I was like, nigga was almost like, I'll go down to the Hall of Fame. Every superstar out there in our generation right now, they all have respect for me. I can go head to toe with any of them.
Sure.
Straight up.
Yeah.
But I just didn't get the superstar opportunity.
Right.
But that's not what I'm in this for. If that happened or if it was going to happen, cool, great. I can't make something happen. I was very successful in this game. I can't compare myself to them. It's almost like I like to say, take the NBA, right? Let's say there's, 28 teams or whatever. Let's say there's 400 players in the NBA. Not everybody in the league is the dudes that get $40 and $50 million every year.
Only a few.
You know how many? Only a few.
Only a few.
You know how many dudes are in the league? Let's say they make $5 and $10 million a year.
Yeah.
You can live off that.
Absolutely.
They might not have 30 cars. They have 5 cars.
Yeah.
Their house might not have 32 rooms. It's got 10 rooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I don't compare what Will Smith's house is with Jamie Foxx, with Kevin Hart. No, hey, man, my family's happy.
Yeah.
My wife is happy. My kids go to private school.
Yeah.
They get to go around the world. And at the end of the day, that's all that counts.
That's all that matters.
That's all that counts. I was able to be successful for my life and my family.
Absolutely. So real quick, I'm just going backwards from what you said earlier. You said something about how Jamie Foxx saw you and pulled you and remembered. Do you think that is gone from the comedy world? Is that still possible to happen with this social media climate now? Do you think those things are still possible?
It's tough, man, because it's a new generation.
Yeah.
Not as many projects going on in Hollywood like it was like in the 90s, the 80s, early 2000s. So it's like you're getting pick and choose who's going to be that guy on what particular project. But guys can get to a certain level where they can help other people out. That's one reason I salute what Kevin Hart is doing. You know what I mean? He was like, I made it to superstar status. I'm going to pull these dudes together and give them opportunities for stuff. Like, shout out to the Plastic Cup Boys and all that. Like, you got somebody that can champion you and help pave a way and open a door for you, hey, man, that's great. I salute that. You know what I mean? So I was just in the right place at the right time. I got along with everybody, and I stayed working.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I'm one of those dudes that really understood this is not the business you want to burn bridges in. You never know who you're going to need, who's going to come around, who's going to have a movie, who's going to have an opportunity for you. And again, I'm not going to name names. There's a whole lot of niggas out there shooting their own selves in the foot, thinking they're gangster, and you're going to be left to one platform and one platform only because you fucked up the relationships and nobody likes you. Now, you can be funny all you want. You
Probably
can
know
be,
that guy.
Huh?
Probably know that guy. But
Yeah, and we all do. But, you know, I'm not mentioning no names. But there's people out there, great. You can be that fuck everybody. Great. You're going to be left to that and that only.
Only. Facts.
I hate when I see people, this fuck this Hollywood shit, nigga. Okay, well, Hollywood is where you work. Right? Like, I mean, you do want to work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, you know, it's just so funny when you're in the game, but you see niggas that come from other places and they want to think, oh, only way you can work is if you're gay. Really, nigga?
Yeah.
The first thing on the planet. You see my beautiful ass wife and my children and all in my timeline over the years?
Yeah.
Come on, man. That is so. But we all know as black Hollywood dudes that have worked in the business, it ain't nothing new.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot of angry, upset, bitter ass niggas. They gotta, point fingers and look for excuses as to why they're not to where they are, but they're mad at somebody else for working.
Yeah.
God bless me, bro.
I know that's right.
God got my back. I mean, 30 years in the business, still working, doing what I love to do. 25, 30 TV shows and movies under my belt. Man, I'm a happy motherfucker.
I know that's right.
You know what I mean? So that negativity just kind of bounces off me and
As
just
it
goes,
should.
man. I'm all about relationships.
Yeah, as it should.
That keeps me working.
I know that's right.
You know what I mean?
So last question for you before I do my top 5. You've been in this comedy game 30 years. you've accomplished so much as we just discussed.
Yeah.
Is there anything that Alex says, I still want to get this, I still want to do this, this is still on my to-do list?
Wow, I've really done it all. Just continue to work.
Okay.
And do what I love to do.
Okay. Good stuff.
And stay healthy.
Yeah.
And now the new chapter in my life is just being an incredible father. I started late, but I started right on time.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And my kids look up to me, and my wife loves me, and that's kind of the number one goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything else comes second and around that. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Like, I'm out here performing right now, but I must have FaceTimed my babies 3 times a day. I can't wait to get back home. They know daddy works.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's a good thing to be able to work.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Still be in the game.
It's beautiful. So, Alex, I do a top 5. I do a Classic Conversations podcast every Tuesday, right? And at the end of it, I would do a top 5, right? So, give me your top 5 R&B singers of all time.
Don't have to be in no particular order.
No particular order.
Okay. That's real easy.
Okay.
I might start off with somebody from left field, but some real niggas out there, they're going to love me for this.
All right.
I love me some goddamn Alexander O'Neal.
Wow. Okay.
Come on, man.
That's a good one.
One of the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
so that's one.
That's one.
You know who else I love? Marvin Gaye.
Okay. Respect.
Luther Vandross. Now, are we considering Prince and Michael Jackson pop or R&B? Because, I mean, they're
put
just
Michael
great
Jackson to pop. Prince may be the R&B.
Because those are two of my favorites.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, so I said Alexander O'Neal. I said
Luther Vandross.
I said Luther Vandross. I said Marvin Gaye. So let's just act right now for the sake of the conversation.
Okay.
That Prince and Michael are above. They're global, worldwide. We're talking R&B, brother.
There you go.
Like, you know what I'll do?
Yes,
Ooh, yeah. You know what I mean?
That
Ooh,
right
yeah. You know, it's real, not sing, but sang.
Sang.
S-A-N-G. All right. Again, like, people may be mad at me, but I fucking love Babyface.
Me too.
Top to motherfucking bottom.
What?
Can we throw Usher in there?
Absolutely.
Look, wait, where am I
That's
at?
5
Number?
right there.
Okay, well, let's stop. Because I could keep going.
Easy, right?
Easy. I'm going to just stop there because you might have some other shit to ask me.
No. That's it.
So who am I 5?
You got Luther, Marvin Gaye, Alexander O'Neal, Usher,
And Babyface. That's just my 5.
That's it.
That's all.
That's all.
I mean, you know. Again, I can keep going, but just
That's
to
it.
answer your
That's it.
question.
Can't go wrong with that 5.
Can't go wrong
You
with
know what
that
I mean?
5.
A lot of baby making music.
A lot of baby. And you know, I don't know if it's okay to say this. You know who really is one of the greatest niggas of all time, and I'm just so mad at him.
R. Kelly.
God, Robert!
Hey.
Robert!
12 Play is still one of the best albums of all time.
Let's just get. I have a daughter now. I'm a girl dad.
Okay.
And I'm so mad it would happen. But like, is it okay for us to still play his music? He didn't touch my daughter. Is that okay?
It's okay with me.
Because when I tell you that nigga is absolutely incredible.
Incredible.
One of the greatest. The nigga could write a song about anything. I'm so mad. I'm still mad that him and Jay-Z didn't continue the Best of Both Worlds tour.
I know, right?
I'll never forget the Best of Both Worlds tour, right? I got tickets. I was going to go see them at Madison Square Garden. I just happened to be in New York, and that's the week them niggas broke up.
Ain't that so?
I was so goddamn mad. That's still one of the dopest albums ever.
Oh, facts.
And him and Jay-Z fell out.
Yeah.
And it was just a slippery slope from there.
Slippery slope.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So hopefully R. Kelly's giving Diddy some advice right now. But what were you saying about...
All righty then.
I guess that's a good way to end the show.
That's a great
I don't
way to
know,
end
man.
the show right there. Ain't no Diddy.
Hashtag. All right.
Hey, man, it's another edition of the Sit Down at Uptown with man Alex Thomas. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you,
this
sir.
This is absolutely incredible, man. For everybody that's watching, make sure y'all check me out on Instagram. Funny Man Alex Thomas, all one word. Funny Man Alex Thomas. The hashtag is The Funny Don't Stop.
Funny Don't Stop.
That's the name of my podcast, The Funny Don't Stop Show. That's the name of my next 1 hour special, The Funny Don't Stop. And that's just me, man.
That's what's up, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you as always, brother. Alex Thomas, ladies.
Thank you, brother.